Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is No Depression for me, and we're back with another video today. I'm your host, Jonathan, and welcome back to the Music for Mental Health series that I'm doing for this channel. Now, in today's episode, we're doing something a bit different from the last two episodes, where we're kind of going over discussion aspects of music and mental health, and kind of just touching upon brief aspects and certain ideas about really how mental health affects your mood and your overall character and the way you respond to different things and how you really perceive life. However, today we're going to be going with about this in a different approach. And as you can see here, I do have my guitar out, and we're going to be doing a bit of a more visual aspect of the video today, and we're kind of just going to be going over some of the aspects of the guitar. Now, this is not in any way, shape, or form really a practice or guitar tutorial video. I'm not going to be going over how to play the guitar, how to really master and stuff like that. Not in this video, anyway. I'm sure you can find many of those on YouTube, or many videos talking about that kind of stuff. But we're going to be going over something a bit different today. And as you can see here, I have an electric guitar. It's not a golf brand, but it works. Trust me, it'll work. And as you can see here, I don't have a pick on me, but that's fine. We're going to improvise and just use a pen, because that can help sometimes. And really the premise of this video today is just to kind of demonstrate and kind of show how different notes can affect your mood and how different notes can affect your well-being. So, and if you're one of those cases where you're trying to make music, or you're trying to listen to music in general that has certain sounds with different frequencies, vibrations, and all that kind of verbatim, then you're going to want to listen to this video, because there's a lot of useful tips here that I'm going to be kind of going over and really emphasizing in this video that I really want to make clear. Alright, so we got it close enough, and I think this will be fine for the type of video we're trying to make here. So this is going to kind of be going over a little bit. It's going to be a bit more basic with this type of video. It's not going to be really in depth. We're not going to go over melodies yet. We'll see just how this goes. But for now, I want to try different chords on the guitar. And this could really apply to any song. This doesn't have to be like any just songs that have guitar in them. This just has to do with any type of song that uses frequencies, like every song ever made. So you can get a basic idea on the type of song that you like based on this. For now, we're just going to be using the standard, and I think the standard will be fine for today's episode, because it's your go-to for guitarists that are just kind of doing rock music. Though we're not going to go into the drop C's and drop B's just yet. That'll be a different video. And we're also not going to go over melodies. I'm just going to go over basic stringing techniques, as well as how they can apply to mental health, because there's a lot of interesting things there to talk about. So first and foremost, we'll do the open strings, because that's very obvious. We should start with that. And hopefully this will pick up on the video, but I'll try to do it as best as I can. This is the open E, I believe, for standard. This is the open string, as you heard. More, as you could tell, it's kind of more darker than some of the other strings. It's the heaviest string, obviously. It's got more bulky material, so it's gonna have like a deeper sound to it. This is the second string, the open string, which I believe is the A string. Sounds a bit lighter. Open D again. Open G. Open B. And open E. So as you can tell, each of one of these has a different sound to them. Not one of them sound the same, and obviously you can do different pitches and different chords like that. These are just the very basic ideas of what you can expect from a different kind of guitar sound to them. But the real question here I wanted to ask is really, how do you feel when you listen to these types of chords? And how do you feel like when they're being strung in frequency together, as opposed to just being them strung individually? How do each of the chords make you feel when you listen to them? So, in essence, you have as opposed to and it's a little out of tune. Whatever. It's a little out of tune. I can't really do much about that. If I were to play, the open E chord once, you probably wouldn't feel anything. But if I were to play it in succession, maybe like a different rhythmic style, like. That would make you feel a bit different, huh? And how does it feel like as opposed to just playing it like? You probably get a sense of a different feel. You probably, if anything, it causes you to have different emotions, which is interesting to note. How playing an instrument once, or rather playing an instrument note once, can kind of make you feel something different as opposed to something being played in succession or in a different rhythmic style. So rhythm does have its actual value and its consistency. So playing notes is and this is just for any guitarist or person that's trying to learn how to really play music. You can really get an idea of this. Depending on the type of rhythm you have in the song, can really impact on the feel of the song, the mood of the song you're trying to enhance, and what you're trying to express. It can really help build that flavor and that kind of the emphasis on that kind of on whether a song is upbeat or whether it's slow paced and more mellow. So you can have a depressing-esque song, and we'll get into that. You can get into like a dark song, but if it has like an upbeat flow to it, then it doesn't sound as bad. And that could be really impactful if you're trying to make a song that is somewhat, if you wanted to make a song that was dark but kind of uplifting, you could do something like that and emphasize that. Or if you really wanted to make a happy song, but it kind of has that kind of sadness or just kind of like melancholy feel to it. That's another example. That may have made you feel a bit differently now listening to that. But if it did, you probably know why. Because it's a different melody, it's a different vibe to it, it's a different way of expression. And really, there's no right or wrong way to play an instrument. However, I'm saying that the way that you do play it can kind of be empirical to your own character, your own personality. And it gives the song a different meaning each time you change the way you play an instrument. So, and you can incorporate different melodies and stuff like that, but we're not going to get into that. For now, we're just going to focus on the main strings, and that's going to really be it for this showcase. But anyway, again, you have this note, but if you were to play it the same way, like, it may make you feel a bit differently. And that goes for all the other strings that we can get into. If you play them differently, you get a different sense of what the song is about. You get a different type of mood for each of the strings. So obviously, now you probably notice on those different types of strings that what you have here is essentially different notes, and each of them have different pitches and vibrations and frequencies. The last of the notes, which is the E chord, I believe. Now that chord right there, obviously, you could probably say it makes you more happy than the upper E chord. Again, this is just to kind of demonstrate how music can have an impact on you. So, for example, if I were to play, the last three notes, let's just say that, the last three open notes, anyway, as opposed to the first three notes, you can obviously tell that it has a different feel to it when you do that, and it's like the last three notes obviously make you feel like a better. It makes you feel like you're joyful, and it makes you feel like it's more uplifting in a sense if you were to use the last three notes as opposed to the first three that we went over. So it's just a very interesting concept to kind of note how if you're using more darker notes, if you wanted to make a more darker song, or rather just a more heavier song, like if you were to do like a heavy metal song, or just a song that is just lower in frequency, then you would use those types of heavier notes that just so happen to have thicker strings than the ones that are on the bottom that have less dense strings. But this really just applies to any song you listen to. This doesn't just have to apply to really just one genre, one instrument. This can apply to so many different other types of songs. And that's the thing. When you're listening to a song, you have to keep that in mind, that music does have a much greater impact than you think it does. And the certain frequencies of the melodies and the certain frequencies and vibrations that the songs give off can definitely play a role in your mental health. And I'm just saying that from experience. I know you can test it out yourself. Let's try listening to a song that's sad, as opposed to a song that's more happy and chill. You'll find yourself liking the latter one more often. And more than the case is, more sad songs tend to be heavy songs. However, it's not always the case. You can have a sad lyrical song with a happy melody, and you can have a sad song with a happy melody. That could be the case too. And there's a lot of variation and different elemental aspects, obviously, that go into making music. So you have to keep that in mind. Personally, for me, I'm a more of an instrumental guy, so instruments mean more to me than lyrics. If I don't like the instrumentals for a song, I'm not gonna like the lyrics. But that's not to say that lyrics don't matter. They do, and that's not to say that you should base a song entirely around instrumentals, because you should definitely have a good flow to your sound. Not just rapping, but singing as well. You should have a good flow, and you should know what you want to talk about in the song. So, but this is just in case you any of you guys that are watching this video happen to be, avid songwriters or just kind of doing that kind of stuff. But songwriting can help in general, and there's a lot of benefits that songwriting does have, or even just playing music as a hobby or whatever the case is, because making music can definitely help with your mental health and a lot of creativity ways as well. It can help with you just kind of getting ideas out, with managing emotions, trauma, etc. And it can help you to alleviate a lot of stress and a lot of negativity. And it's just a very helpful thing if you're interested in doing that. Interesting enough, the American Music Theory Association states that not only does songwriting encourage self-esteem or self-expression rather to create personal lyrics, but can also reflect your emotions behind the lyrics depending on what instruments you choose to use. So for example, the guitar is just one example of an instrument that you could use. Now now if you're playing the violin, for example, if you're playing the piano, if you're playing the cello, if you're playing the bass, if you're playing the saxophone, the trumpets, the clarinet, the flute, so many different types of examples we can get into, the harps, the organs, the anything. They all sound different. They all have a different sound to them. They all express emotions differently. And depending on what your personal preference is, it can help to build an identity. It can help to build a mood for that song that you're listening to. And the type of music that you listen to with those instruments reflect who you are as a person. What type of instruments you like to have be played in the background or just to rock out to. Depending on what type of instruments you like to listen to can really affect who you are as a person, and then it can also help express your identity and your personality based on those instruments that you do like, based on the type of songs with different lyrics and what they talk about, and those types of what the songs are about. That can help to create an identity and create an identity in the music that you listen to. And so, like I just said, playing instruments can encourage your emotional expression. Socializing, I mean, that's a good one. Though, for me anyway, if you're relatively niche in the community that you are in, that you grow up in, and there's not many players out there that are really getting involved and invested in those type of music, then it may not be as easy for you. But it can help you to socialize and just kind of get yourself out there and start connecting with people that do, in fact, like that type of music. The same ones that you do. It could be a simple rap thing that you like to do, or it could be something else. And so yeah, it could be used for therapeutic reasons. It could be used to kind of express your emotions based on the type of chords, melodies, and textures. And tones, that's a good one, tones. You can really experiment and find, your own identity and your own way of expression through that kind of music, which is something that every musician has to do at some point with experimenting with different music instruments, different frequencies and vibrations and tones. But just for the average viewer that's listening to this video right now, just really take some time to really understand the premise of listening to music. Why is listening to music so important for all of us to do, and why do we enjoy listening to the type of music that we do listen to? With the music can really impact who you are as a person, and impact the way you view life, and how you are able to express your own emotions in real life. Because actually the way that people express themselves in the music can be a reflection of how you express yourself in real life, which is really... And so I really just want to end it on this, that we just kind of went over the basic premises of the guitar, but there's so much more we can get into, and this is just kind of me making it short, just to make it simple as possible, and also for me just make it as concise and condensed it as I can. But and debates over in nodepressionforme.com. And as well, we just have a good community of people that regularly engage in blog and forum posts, as well as our social media pages on Instagram that you can check out. We have a new TikTok that's going to be, of course, being set up there as well. So you can visit us on those platforms and at the knowdepressionforme.com, where we do have our blog and forum page, where we set up regularly set up posts about depression, about mental health, and ways of overcoming them through different mediums such as music or through different ones as well. And of course, you can visit those sites by clicking the link below. I'm personally one of the writers and editors for that community, for that website. I thank you all so much for watching this video, and I really appreciate the support that we're getting on this channel. And I just really appreciate it because we've been kind of growing up recently and just blowing up recently, and it's just really an affectionate thing to just kind of have, and honestly to see so many people being invested on the channels as we are, and hopefully we can continue to do this series and just promote this channel as much as we can, and just create more interesting videos like this on a daily or semi-daily basis, hopefully. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.